This is Connie, your RMGT, and this is my first time to use the Facebook Live, so I'm super nervous about this. Yeah, but then anyway, very nice to meet you. And then for today, we are going to talk about the faster process time. So I am your regional manager GT for Asia Pacific, and this is my background. So I come from ASEAN in China mainland, and I was a GVEP in Banten and Indonesia, and OGV member, IGV team leader, LCP, and also MCPD for ICX and Y4GG. And right now I am RMGT. Great. So for this time, our target audience would be MCVPGT and also LCVPGT. But if you are a member or middle layer manager and anyone, so I'm very glad to see you here. Yes. So first of all, before we start, let's talk about why process time is super important. So imagine you are an EP, and every day you will apply for a lot of opportunities in different websites, and you will search and apply OP every day in a lot of places and get contact from all over the world. And also you keep interview and being rejected or always get a lot of offers, and sometimes there is also maybe no response from the company at all. So imagine what kind of opportunities that you will, in the end, you will choose. Of course, the one that you really want to apply at the beginning with faster process and clear guidance. So what does process time mean to our operation? So from me, I think it's very important that we identify faster process time to what are the things is elements for the faster process time. So I will divide into the OGT and IGT part. So for OGT, it's very important that in the first step of contacting EP, we already give very clear enough covered like information about selection process, visa overall process time, interview preparation, so that EP can have a very clear information about maybe this would be the process time with Japan, and this would be the process time with India. Like super very detailed information can really help you to push the faster process because your EP already know what would be the next step. So you and your EP will be very have the very strong accountability with each other. So everyone is being very clear in the process and also very pushing for the result, which is get approved. And second, have very strong tracking tool for the EP status and also routine conversation with EP about the status. So for here, I highly recommend that for the OGT, you can maybe use the XBA. There is the function about making the tag of the EP, and then you can also put notes on the XBA so that when you review the all EPs, you won't get lost. Otherwise, you need to have a very strong tracking tools can at least show that this EP is already applied for how many opportunities, and then in which opportunities, what are the stage there? Like how many days she got contacted from the IGT side or company side, or how many days she is already in the interview process, however, is waiting for company to reply. So identify very clearly about what are the stages that EP should be recorded with you, and then you can help her or him to contact the IGT side to push the faster process. And also, it's very important that you need to be very clear about the OP requirements and also provide CV sample to ensure the CV is in a very good quality. So it's super important as an EP manager or as a LCVP, you give very clear education on in this country and this for this kind of sub-product and also opportunity, what are the most qualities that company really take care of. So I will give an example. Like if it's for the engineer, what are the top 5 qualities? The first one would be the designing. Second one would be how they can construction things. And third one would be how they can categorize things. And fourth one will be how they can implement in the project. And fifth one, and then most important one, is about knowledge. So being super clear about in each sub-product, what are the main qualities that HR is looking into is super important for you to align with this kind of requirements with the EP. And then for the CV, you should be always notice that for maybe for IT, it's very important to highlight all the knowledge and also all the skills that your EP have. And maybe for the BA marketing, like teaching, would be more using a lot of like what are the main achievements or what are the experience to make it be more specific, use data and also examples to showcase what are the key qualities they have. And fourth is having a very strong connection with IGT site to ensure the EPs are prioritized to be sent to the company. So if you have your IR countries, then it's super important that ensure them are processing prioritize your EPs to be processed. If you are not tracking on that, then for IGT side will be super difficult because for some of the country we actually got like 200 around applicants every per week. So, but then with the limited HR resources, how they can really filter all the EPs from your country and prioritize them. So this is your job to ensure your EPs are prioritized. And most importantly, be the specialist of the sub-product selection process time and recommended OP with clear selection process that EP is interested in. So what do I mean for the sub-product selection process time? So let's take IT example as an example. So lots of companies, maybe you will use like task to test the IT knowledge, and it will be around 1 week. Or some of the company, they will send a lot of job questionnaire, or they will have like 2 rounds, at least 2 rounds or 3 rounds interview, and each interview will conclude 1 to 2 hours with some task implementation. But then for the teaching, maybe it can be very simple if you can align with IGT site to select based on the video, like have a presentation in the class. So this will be very important that you are being very clear about what is the selection process in the sub-product that you are focusing on. So I highly recommend that you are focusing no more than 1 to 2 sub-product. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for you to understand for this industry and this sub-product, what are the usual and normal selection process look like right now, so that it will be very hard for you to align all the IGT people. And also to recommend the OP with a very clear selection process. If that opportunity is not your IR partners, and also you didn't get a lot of information about this selection process, be cautious on that. Or before you recommend to EP, at least you contact the OP manager to get detailed information. And for IGT, so first, it's information alignment with OGT. So at the very beginning stage of the OGT, if they can make super clear about what are the informations they are going to align, then that information comes from where? Comes from you. So this is super important that you are being aware about OGT side is giving the right information, and that really needs your support. Like if you are MCVP, to ensure that all the LCVPs are filling this kind of information in a very detailed way on the expo. If you are LCVP, ensure that your members, when doing the sales, they are being very clear about why they need to collect this kind of infos. And in the end, the reasons of rejection and also OP2 for reapply is super important. So ensure that all the you have the habit to reject the EP, not just to put them into the open status. And also, you can align with the OGT about all the opportunities tool that you have right now, so that when EP got rejected by one company, they can still apply for your country's opportunity. And second would be the applicants management. So have a very strong tracking tool for all the applicant status, and also you can use expa as a CRM to make EP status being more clear. And also ensure LCs and members are contacting or reject applicants in 24 hours. So for here, I know that in our regions, there are a few entities got a lot of applicants. So but then you don't really have a lot of opportunities. So for these entities, I highly recommend that you can, based on the company, you can create a group and then ensure all the applications is in that group, and then you can easily to manage and also easily to notice about what is the current enrolling process going on, and when would be the second first round or second round result for the EP. And third, company alignment. So put selection process into the OP description is super important so that when OGT align or when you do the alignment with your IR partner is super easy and understand the requirements for the pre-scanning. So things you already got some keyword about what are the basic things that they should have. So I will highly recommend that you can also use the function of XPA to search for the CV keywords. So at least you can check all the CVs which is matched with the OP requirements, and also have the routine to check interview result from the company. So I would recommend that for the company, you can at least every 1 week, like every Monday or every Friday, you can get the result from the interview and pass the second round CV. Instead of every day sending a lot of CVs and then in the end forget which are the CVs should be reviewed and also which are the applicants should be rejected in the first round or second round or third round. And most importantly, prioritize the EP suitable for the company requirements and be the specialist in the OB requirement and know which countries EP can be accepted because of visa. So that means you need to have very strong knowledge about if I am going to hire a marketing profile people, where I can get these applicants, and then are these applicants they can get a visa in a very easy way, and how long they are going to get a visa. So these are the process that you need to also align with company. And second thing is, again, what are the requirements that company looking for? So if you are not clear about that, then OGT side will be super messed up and they won't send you the right applicants. And then in the end, everyone just keeps sending applicants and everyone just keep rejecting. And in the end, nothing has happened. So being very clear about this, we are not going to have so many opens, but however, ensure that in every open, we are being super clear about what are the EPs that we are looking for. So how should I define my bottlenecks in process time? So this is the current state, and then for the good part is most of our process time are decreasing, which means we are getting faster. But however, it's not faster enough. So as you can see from to get acceptance, usually we are going to have around for IGT is 15 days, but for OGT is 24 days. So for OGT, it's super important that you can review which are the countries that is being very slow, and then to understand what is their process behind, so that you can decrease your acceptance process time. Yeah. And the second part for the approval, currently our day is 24 days. 21 days in total. So ensure that we can actually still think about from accept to approval, how we can decrease at least 2 to 3 days, so that we can ensure the total days is around 14 to 18. So that will be very perfect we can ensure that EPs is getting the better experience. So this will be the detailed version about each countries in AP, what is the current process time, and then for your information, this you can actually review in the expert tool if you don't know that. Great. So how should we define where I should focus? I think this is very two simple things. First, to check the funnel. Where is your bottleneck? Is it happening with the apply to accept or accept to approve? And also check the process time. Is how many days is for apply to accept and how many days is accept to approve. And then you will know where you should focus on. So the tip one for every one of you is analyze the process. First of all, for IGT and OGT, make sure that you are actually aligned very clearly about what will be the, like, if IGT is going to open opportunities in 29th of October, then ensure that OGT is also getting the information maybe 1 week ago to know that we are having the OPs is in the contracting process, and then what are the requirements that we are looking for, and then for after they open, they can already start to send the CVs and applicants for them. And then we also, if we are going to start the interview for the first round or second round, then when should OGT site keep renewing about what are the new applicants for you? and then align very clearly about what time will be the day that we are processing the accept or rejection, so that we can actually, for OGT side, can also align. If the EP is being rejected, they can start to resell for the EP. And then for the approvals is also super important, that our OGT is follow up with the EP about the payment process. Are they also